snowing. That sure the hell wasn't in the plans. Those are the heads that I built for that small block I was telling you about. Well, this is a set of camelback heads that my dad had done. It was probably a few years before Desert Storm kicked off, and at that time my dad was retired and he was working on Fort Bragg, and he was working a lot because of Desert Storm, and so, kind of after all that, and he just ended up working, and then his health kind of went to hell in a handbag. So it's strange because he's got this new set of heads, the valve job done on them. And then over here, he had a 327 block all bored out, and I have a 350 block all bored out. So you see a pattern? Funny, when my dad passed away, I got his tools, and it was hard going through his toolbox, but if you pay attention, it tells a story. And in his toolbox, he had dog tags, from dogs that had died. And in my toolbox, I have collars of dead dogs that I had. Maybe that twisted ass bolt that was a hell of a job that he just threw in his toolbox to kind of remind him. Same thing I got in mine. He was way better mechanic than I was, but he taught me, a lot, and I sure miss him. This is my man cave. This here's a picture I got years ago. I like the look of that car. I like to paint mine that color. There was a place in Tucson called the Bump Steer, and it was like a restaurant and kind of like a little nightclub, and they had stuff hanging all over the ceilings, the roof, big stuff. And I mean, there was something to look at, Everywhere you looked, there was something different. Old stuff. It was probably, I don't know, hopefully it's still there. It was a cool place. This room kind of reminds me of that. Except for this room is just like a bunch of projects, half done. And I got a car from my dad. And before he packed it away, he had the bumpers re-chromed. Back in 84. And I'll tell you what, he told me it cost a boatload of money then to do it. I couldn't imagine trying to get them done nowadays. Some of these cars, it's like a rich man's sport. This little guys here, it's funny when you're younger, it's like you can collect all this stuff. I got these Chevelles for pretty damn cheap. They were wore out and everything, but I worked to fix them up, and now they're worth something. But, I used to always want to restore it to brand new, And the older I got, the harder it just became to realize that, you can put $100,000 in a car that's worth $60,000. It's a labor of love. I don't know. I love the old stuff. But it became a long time in my life where I never got to drive anything cool. because it was all covered up in the backyard, waiting for someday that I might be able to have some time or money to start screwing with them. Here's the seats that were in my van when I got them. They're really comfortable, but they need to be recovered. Did a lot of research on upholstery work, something I'd like to get into one day. Here's a little fan I built, tranny cooler. They had these 10-inch fans on eBay, pretty cheap. And I just built a housing, like a shroud, mini shroud. And I'm going to try and mount that in my van someplace, because when you start rolling up hills with trailers, boy, that tranny gets hot. There's a place coming out here in North Carolina. It's just a huge hill, and man, it's a beast. Oh, thank you, asshole. So, got a mail call. Real cool, and I got a bunch of people sent me stickers, man. First off, I'm sorry it took so long to make this video. And we'll get set up here and then we'll run it. So hold on. It won't take long. I think you got you in there. Alright. Got some stickers. Cheetah 40. Pretty cool, man. He was writing that he wanted to see a little bit of headbanging metal go, so maybe one of these days I'll figure a way to record some of it. It don't sound too cheesy, but dude, I really appreciate the sticker, man. Got a really cool car going there. I'd love to be able to do one of mine like that. Vortec. Right on, buddy. That's a cool sticker too, man. I don't know if you guys remember, back in the old days, they had these things called wacky packs, and they would take, they'd make like, it'd be a little like kind of a baseball card deal. You'd get a sticker, a couple stickers, and some gum, and they'd take like a product, and they'd totally blow it out of. The one I remember was Fruit of the Tomb. It was like Fruit of the Loom, but anyway, it's pretty cool. I dig these stickers with the huge tires and stuff. Pretty cool, man. You were doing some junkyard videos. And my first kind of experience of junkyards, I guess I was, I've had a couple times I'd gone before, but my dad had helped me build a Chevelle when I was just turning 17. And we were doing it in North Carolina, and I remember pulling seats out of a SS Chevelle for my car, and there was like a Z28 Camaro sitting next to it with the weeds popping through the, the wheel wells and stuff. It was great. I mean, there were some cool cars back then, and it was some good times, man. It's hard to find that old stuff now. Everybody's got them stashed in a barn or something like me. But that's cool, man. I sure appreciate the sticker. I think you tried to send me one, and maybe it got lost or something, but I really appreciate it. It's super cool. Mark, over at Second Gen. Pretty cool, man. Again, that's one of them cool stickers, I like that. My sticker is my son, standing in front of my dad's car. And actually, my dad had given me that car a couple of years before he died. And the deal was he had got it in '83. And I was about 16 or somewhere around in there. And my dad was a Ford man, and this is a Chevy. And boy, I was after that car for as long as he had it. I mean, it almost became an ongoing joke, Mom, when are you going to give me that car, Dad? Because I would, every time I talked to him, that was part of the conversation, was that car. And I always wonder, he knew that he probably wasn't going to build it. And, even when he kept the car, he didn't know I had a son. Um, anyway, it's just weird the way things work out. Maybe he was hoping that I would do the same thing that he did with me. And, it was a good bonding thing, when we were working together, it was teamwork, and, he would let me work on something, and he'd let me do it the hard way if I was a hard-headed kid, and, I think he'd know right when I was about ready to break something, and he'd kind of say, all right, you want me to show you how to do that? And I'd be pissed, and I'd say, yeah, and he'd show me how to do that, and it'd be so damn easy, I'd think, what the, anyway, you're remodeling your house, and that's what I do for a living. I've been a remodeler now for over 10 years. Before that, I was a drywall finisher, and did a lot of custom houses, and before that, right out of high school, landscape construction, so in Arizona of all places. So I don't know, I kind of pretty extreme gamut of the construction stuff. I kind of got tired of doing the same old stuff. It didn't matter if we were in a $3 million house or what. It was just monotonous, and I wanted to branch out, so I got into remodeling, and it's been a good move. It was hard, because I was already a journeyman in one field and then moving into something. And when you think of journeyman, you kind of think of someone who knows it all. And I mean, that's what it used to mean. So I really appreciate the sticker, man. All right, Hales. I got her, buddy. Look at that thing. Huge. I might have to start another bass drum, huh? I might be able to squeeze you in. I don't know. What do you think? I'm thinking right here would be a good spot. I did. I'm real glad you're at home, and probably sucks, having to go down to the hospital and deal with all that shit, because I'm a lot like you. It's not my bag. Anyway, I appreciate it, you guys. This thing's starting to fill up a little bit. Yeah, that was a picture of my son. We had just got the car home here, and it was kind of like the first time I had taken possession of it, after all those years of trying to get it. And my son Dylan was pretty excited about it, and he likes the hot rods and all that kind of stuff. And he's right on the verge now of getting deep in there. So I think this spring, it's going to be his initiation. My plans with that car is, that motor right there. The 327 my dad got was out of a 67 Caprice, he said. The summer we built my Chevelle, we went through all kinds of heads till we finally had to get ours redone, because we had a high compression head, and without the heads, your motor's not going to perform the way you want it. And anyway, he learned a few things about the Chevys during that experience, which was a pain in the ass for him. And for me, I was 17, so anything was possible, Anyway, when I left, he got really sick with an ulcer, and I think it was from drinking. My dad was in Vietnam, and it was one of the bad habits he had was the drinking thing and cigars and, partying. He had a good time, for whatever reason. But anywho, I left to go back to Arizona, with my Chevelle all souped up, and he started checking out some motors here and there. And he asked the man, he said, he saw the Camelback heads on that motor. And he said, how much for that motor out of that Caprice? And I think the guy said $50. And Dad said, well, just load it up on my truck. And he had got the machine work done on it. He knew what he had. And I think he was fixing the process of fixing it up. He had a bunch of cars at his house in Fayetteville in North Carolina. And the city changed the ordinance so that he had to get rid of a lot of his stuff that were, fixer-uppers. And So anyway, and they just kind of hung out. Some of the parts that I got from them got a little bit of rust on them, and from sitting. So just dreams that didn't happen. You know what I mean? He got tied up with something. Like everybody, we get busy, and sometimes, and a lot of times, other things take precedence in our hobbies. And anyway, man, appreciate the stickers. This one's filled up almost. Might be able to squeeze a couple small ones in there, but then got number 2, and I got a lot more cases, so I could probably fill these up for years. Thanks a lot, you guys. Hope this comes out. I got a little mirror here that I got from my pops, so I'm doing a little prison setup here. I got you up on my bench. All right, thanks. All right, guys. There we go. The road crew. Thanks, man. Catch you guys later.